Hi guys, just sat down. Don't know why these are here, but they are over there. Look! Look at them. Not bad for a dyslexic lad. But Jerska, you're going to go nowhere. You're a waster. You're a bum. I wrote 3 books, miss. Don't ever let teachers pull you down. A good teacher always has faith in you, always believes you, no matter what, just like a good mother and a good father, just like a good friend, always believe in that person. So yeah, these are the 3, look, they got thicker. First one. Was that the first one? No, hang on a minute, that was the first one. Yeah, first one was thin. That's this one, Diary of an Accidental Psychic. Then, hold that thought. Here, hold it. And then, From My Heart to Yours. And then, Seeing the Invisible. Look how thick it is. Fantastic. Come on. Bible basher. And this one's particularly good for flies. And this one's really good for a dodgy leg. There you go. That's better. Hey, he's a bit silly today. He is. Should we switch him off? Hey, okay, so Seeing the Invisible. Let's go like that and see what the story is. And let me tell you the story. Oh, look! Chasing the ghost. That's what it says. Chasing the ghost. Okay, which ghost was I chasing in this one? I've no idea. I've never read the bloody thing. What's it like, by the way? Hang on, give me a second. Oh my God. Get on with it, Mark. Oh, do you know I haven't got a bloody clue? Oh, right, yeah, okay. I remember now. So, I had a phone call, and it was from a lovely lady who was, I think, a client, and had gone back to her own country. And I had a message saying, I'd love to invite you to do a pure energy healing course, and I can get a lot of people together because they're really interested in what you're doing. I went, oh great, okay. And you could do some readings. I went, okay, so I'll do some reading, and you could do some healings. Okay, anything else? Yeah, a ritual would be nice. I said, okay. So I'm going to come for a couple of weeks. I'm going to do a pure energy healing course. I'm going to do loads of readings. I'm going to do healings, and I'm going to finish off with a ritual. Sounds about right for me. Just use me and abuse me. It's okay. I'll be okay. Mark, yeah, time for a reading. Okay. So anyway, I did all the readings. We did the fantastic pure energy healing course, and then it was the final night. And I remember seeing people walking in and coming to this beautiful ritual night. I never knew her, but one particular lady came in, and it was a bit off. The energy was a bit off. I'm not being judgmental, I'm just telling you the truth. The energy was a bit off around this lady, and I went, oh, oh dear. This is going to be a bit of a challenge, I guess. And anyway, she totally kept herself to herself, no hugs, no problem. I had a shower, I'm okay. Nope, nowhere near me. And then she went and sat down in a particular place on her own, nobody else. And normally when I see this, I know there's something a lot bigger to it. I don't get involved because I know that spirit brings the right people for the right reasons. So everybody came that night. I don't know, was it 16 to 20? I think I would only have a maximum of 24 people. So they could have been between 16 and 24, depending on who turned up. So I welcomed everybody and gave my opening talk. I'd already prepared the circle, the healing circle, which was basically a creation of shamanic tools, as well as fresh flowers, and I used to like greenery, so ivy and things like that. So I created it in and amongst the lighting of the candles, and then in the centre is a chair which is blessed, and then I sit in the centre of there on my own. Nobody can come in, and I normally spend between half an hour and a couple of hours, depending, to get the energy right in that beautiful circle. So anyway, this lady had sat down, and as I was giving the talk, I could see she was very, very anxious. You would probably look at her and think, wow, she's not very nice. But I knew there was something going on. I could see an internal battle going on. And I could feel it. I could see it resonating from her. And having gone through many years of seeing certain things and feeling them and becoming more aware and becoming more concerned, I learned up till this point that nothing really bothered me anymore, and I didn't. It would present itself in its time, and I knew whatever I was doing, the only thing I can do is my best. So I'm not going to be trying harder on her just because she's stressed. I don't allow that anymore. That doesn't affect me anymore. It used to do at one time, but you grow to understand that that doesn't help. So I just ignored it, and so like I'm giving an opening talk, and she's like. And I could see the battle between the heart and mind and what was going on inside. So people were starting to, I think, recognize there was something not quite right with this lady, bless her. And okay, so I said, okay, I'm going to begin now. And after welcoming everybody and giving them an opening talk about that I only work with light and love, and whoever comes into the circle, it's only about healing and cleansing away really hard and heavy, deep trauma. And as a shaman would use swords, I would use feathers, and I would use my hands as a sign of the sticks. And anyway, I explained in the way I know to get everybody in that right energy. Apart from this woman, which weren't going anywhere with anybody's energy. It wasn't connected with anything. She was like just going through her personal battle at that time. And I shouldn't laugh because it's not nice. I've been there twice, so I know what it's like. So I start with a big smile on my face, and so candles are lit, and we begin dim lights, and then I start to call upon spirit, and then the first client comes in. So I'm working on the first client, fantastic. She breaks down in tears, cries, a bit of screaming, she's out. Next client comes in, all over the place, cleansed, cleared. Next, and as I'm going along, I'm seeing this woman's getting more irritated, and I could see she was. Now I'm like, okay, this woman's really battling really hard, and everybody else is taking notice. Anyway, so through the night, I'm like maybe 2 hours in, and she's nearly one of the last people that I was going to do. And then I'd finished everybody, and now it's this lady's turn. So I look at this lady, and I beckon her in. Come on, right, a big smile, like, because everybody knows it's in a row, so you're next. You don't need to be told, you can see. So this woman's like, and she's trying to pull herself out of the seat, and everybody was like, I mean, everybody was in their own energy, but what I could see was a battle taking place, and she was trying to pull herself out, but her mind was trying to keep her there. And at one point, I actually remember seeing her shaking her head saying, no, I'm not, because I do say to people at the start of the ritual, if you feel any way that you don't want to come into the circle, you don't have to worry. You can just enjoy the experience, right? You don't have to do anything. So I'm sure at one point she shook her head to say, I'm not coming, right? But as she said, shaking her head, she's pulling herself out of the seat. And I'm watching this thinking, whoa, whatever's going on here, it's a battle. So she comes out, I can't stand up to show you, but I'm stood up, and she manages to pull herself out of the seat, and she walks, and as she comes into the circle, whatever was attached to her spirit went straight back, and I could now clearly see a spirit trapped in between two worlds, exactly where she was sat. She came to sit down, and she sat down. She looked relieved. And I got my feathers and my spray, and everybody must have thought I was crazy, but I flew out of the circle and went to where the spirit was, and I was spraying the blessed water, the mist that you buy from Lemon House. That mist I sprayed all around, and I was whacking, cleansing, clearing, getting rid of the energy of the spirit trapped in between two worlds. So I'm chasing the spirit around, clearing it, saying, you're not coming back, you're going to leave her alone. Anyway, it disappeared. It went, and I couldn't feel it in the room. So I went back in, and I gave the ritual to this lady, cleansed and cleared, and she went on her way. I think the moral of the story is that the circle, I always believed, was so powerful that no spirit would or could enter into that energy of love, and that's why a lot of trapped spirit left clients and said, I've never felt better in my life after a ritual. And I could see the change in some people's faces, literally, the change in the face, like they looked younger. So I knew that spirit trapped in between two worlds can have a profound effect on the physical and mental and emotional. And it was really interesting to see. I think the moral of that story wasn't just the fact that a circle can clear negative energies or spirit trapped in between two worlds, but I think the personal battle of this lady not wanting to come and was angry being there was actually not her anger. And I don't mean to use this as an excuse for anybody, but there are times in life that you don't know why you do things. You don't know why you get angry. You don't know why you cause great pain and you scream and shout. But there are times in life where I can clearly see that isn't you. That is an influence by what I believe is spirit trapped in between two worlds. And I believe with my hand on my heart that there is another realm within the realm of spirit and our world where we can get trapped. This is the only way I can explain it, trapped, because how else do you say it? Spirit trapped in between two worlds. They're neither home and they're neither here. And that means that there is another world in a world that is living in denial, and in that energy they're neither of spirit, they're neither of physical, they're in between. And there are certain circumstances that I believe that they have this understanding, this I don't know whether it's to do with a need to feel energy off a human being with a physical and a spiritual. I don't know that. I've never really truly understood it. I do know that sage cleanses and clears that away and clears them away, in the sense of, I don't know where they've actually gone, but they've cleansed and cleared away. So whether it's cleared away somewhere else or whether it's cleared them to be able to have the power to walk into the light, which I have seen many times, but it's not all cut and dry, like, okay, if you sage them, that's it, they've gone into the light. It's not, I can't say that's 100% true, but what I can say is there are times when I've saged a property that I've seen and felt the presence of spirit come forward into a sage room. I'm talking about the spirit world now, different from spirit trapped in between two worlds. If you imagine you as a physical is vibrating at 1%. The spirit trapped in between two worlds, maybe 5%, and spirit in the spirit world is 12%. So there's a difference in energy. We can't just go into that world because of the physical, and the trapped spirit can't go in because of the denial or what they've been through or the guilt and the suffering or whatever, shock, and they never went into the light. So it's difficult when you're holding that energy. So we are holding a physical body, right? We can't go into the light until the body dies, and then we can move into the light if we are at that point where we let go of everything and just say, you know what, I did my best. I think a lot of the time spirit's trapped in between two worlds because we've done tremendously bad things, shock energy, and other things I've mentioned to you in the past. But it is so complex that even after 16 years of working every day as a healer and gone into houses and tried to understand that and seen this and done this, and like there's no real pattern to anything. You can say that there's kind of coincidences which are similar, but every single situation is different. So it doesn't mean that if you've killed somebody you can't go into the light, because just at the point of moving into the light, if you release that and forgive yourself. I know it's really ridiculous. How can you forgive yourself if you've killed somebody? But there is a point of energy where you release and say, okay, whatever. It's a kind of, not forgive yourself, but I surrender to what is and ever will be. So, okay, I deserve whatever I did. I'm ready to accept my fate and move into the light in that way. And I don't know the word. You probably understand the word I'm looking for, but that kind of just letting go and saying what will be, and I move back into the light. And in actual fact, what I do understand about the light, when we're brave enough to let go of the guilt and the worry and the suffering and the pain and everything that we hold on to that sometimes stops us from moving back into the light. When we move into the light, that transition is everything is as it should be and always will be. And there is no pain and suffering in the spirit world. We understand what we've been through once we're into the light or home. Everything then makes sense. So there is no bitterness, there is no anger, there is no resentment of anybody in the spirit world that you may think, oh, I shouldn't have done that, and are they watching over me now, and are they haunting me? It doesn't work like that, guys. And I can tell you that with my hand on my heart. That's all BS. And that's for people to scare you and to make you feel bad, and to make you feel bad for the rest of your life. And it's just another form of fear-based manipulation by silly idiots who have no idea how the spirit world works. The spirit world only presents itself to you so that you know who they are. So I realized very quickly after maybe 5 years of reading for spirit, he's talking out of his bum, this fella. I did. Sometimes I used to speak to spirits. I did, honestly. And people used to sit there and say, how do you know I've got a little son at 4 years old that I've never told anybody about, and that I'll never see them because it was blah blah blah? And I'll say, because I can hear spirit telling me. So big grown men would walk out of my room saying, how did he know that? And you know, the misconception too that we work with devils and evil is absolute BS, because if that was the case, and I'm manipulated by spirit, then 16 years later, wouldn't I be doing the worst things in the world? Wouldn't I be doing the most terrible things if I was manipulated by the devil? I actually see more people who are Christians, Catholics and religious people doing the most terrible things to their brothers and sisters, saying the most heinous, wicked things to their brothers and sisters and families. I've got 2 children. They're proud of me. I'm proud of them. Everybody, my ex-wife, we're best friends, and my partner and all the people that are in my life, they know me, and everybody that I care for, and all the crystals that I gift and care about people. Do you really think that my work has turned me into an evil monster and that I'm a wicked man? I think there's a lot more wicked people out there in the world than me. So I would suggest that my work actually brings you closer to love and kindness. And you know what? I was a lot more of a wicked person before I did this work than I am now. And I wasn't wicked then. But what I mean is that I was a lot more angrier. I had more anger in me, issues because of my dad filling me with his anger. And I had to clear that away, because you've got to work on yourself, guys. Did you know that? You've got to work on yourself. I've seen people work on themselves, but I've seen 99.9% of people who say they work on themselves and never do. So it's very rare for people to work on themselves. And when you do, good for you, pat on the back. And it's a constant. It never stops. You can't ever say, I'm done now. I've worked on myself enough. It's never ending. It's a continuous flow. So yeah, like speaking to spirit, it's like there is no hate, there is no sadness, there is no suffering in the spirit world, because and then somebody would say, but yeah, that's right, that's my auntie who hates so and so. And I'd say, no, she doesn't hate them, she's just telling you who she is. How can I explain who that is? They're not giving me their name and address, and you know, sometimes I might catch a glimpse of the colour of their hair or their eyes and hear something, and it's not like a direct line for me. I had to work really, really hard at capturing glimpses of spirit world. It's bloody hard. Not only do you have to look after your body and be in tune, but you've got to clear all your fears and worries and be completely open to not being sabotaged by the brain or anything. So it's a different place you go to. And I'd say to them, no, you got me wrong. No, she isn't angry with you. She's just coming forward to tell you who she is. But she's actually not angry at all. Oh, but you know, you said she would. No, she's just telling you this is me. And the only way she can tell you is by how she felt at the time before she moved into the spirit world. But I'm here to tell you that she's in love, harmony, peace, and she wants to send you love and strength, and then I'd give messages of love. A lot of people hold on to the negative messages and not the positive, and that's the truth. And a lot of people who used to come for psychic sessions, readings and stuff, only were waiting for what they wanted to hear, which I learned, you know, quite quickly how blinded humanity is, and they only want to hear what they want to hear, not the real truth. So a lot of people used to walk out of that room and say things and say, but that's only one part of the story, did you not listen to the rest? So, but then you realize you can only do your best, and you can only share what you've got, and then the client will take what they want from it. But yeah, going back to spirit trapped in between two worlds, it's such a wonderful and liberating, that's the word, liberating feeling when you are able to help spirit trapped in between two worlds to move into the light. And the way I used to do that, maybe one day I'll do a really long video and a workshop on it, but it's a bit like this. Imagine you're speaking to somebody there who sat down, right? And then you close your eyes, okay? So you continue speaking to that person, and then you ask them a question, how's life at the moment? And they turn around and say, not too good. I had a massive issue with a friend, and I did something I shouldn't have done, you know, and what was that? Well, I did this to him, and it was the worst thing I ever did. And then I turned around and I said, but your friend's okay. Your friend's fine about it, and it's made them stronger. And it actually, what you did was very important for them to grow stronger and to learn the most difficult challenge in life. And they want to say sorry that you feel this way, but they want to say thank you for what you did and to help them grow. And only you could have done that because you're a beautiful soul. And then that person sat down and says, really? And I go, yeah, they're actually really looking forward to seeing you. In fact, if you want to move straight to go and say hello to them, just move into this light. And then they say, which light? This light here, right in front of you, stand into it. And then they move into the light, and then they've gone. That's a simple version. Sometimes it can take a lot longer, but it's the same thing. So when you close your eyes and I'm giving you a psychic reading, I'm not speaking to you, I'm speaking to your spirit, your soul. So when I'm reading for you, you think I'm reading to your ears. I'm not. I don't even look at you. I speak to your spirit, which is who you are, the eternal you. And that's why a lot of people used to cry when I gave a psychic reading, because they'd say, why am I crying? I says, because I'm speaking to your soul. And your soul is who you are. Your body is nothing. It's just a useless beautiful but useless when it comes to understanding life. You think life is on this level. This isn't life. This is just there to take you around here and there, and it's just that spacesuit that we wear for the time we're here. But your spirit is really who you are, and that's who a lot of people say that when I make these videos that they say, oh, it's like you're talking to me. What does that mean? Who am I talking to? Who's me? Me is in your ears, your mouth, your lips, your heart, your body. Is that you? Or is the real you that I'm talking to that what you feel and you can't put into words when you feel somebody speaking to you directly to you, which is not the you, your name, you, your spirit, your soul. So I don't discriminate between life and death. And people used to say to me, oh, I'm frightened, don't tell me about death. And I say there's no such thing as death. And as I speak to you, nobody dies anyway. So, I don't discriminate at all. And when I used to read for people, sometimes I'd read for people still on this earth, and sometimes I would communicate with a client as if I spoke to somebody and they're still in this world or they're in the spirit world. But to me, it was the same thing. So I stopped saying anything like, oh, they're in the spirit world or they're here, because it wasn't important. So I would just give information. So sometimes they'd get a story from their grandmother, their little daughter who moved into the spirit world 2 weeks inside, or doesn't matter, because it isn't a baby, it's a spirit, it's a soul. So I used to be able to just communicate that, and people, I didn't know what I was saying most of the time. Confused me, but they'd be going, I know exactly what you're talking, I know who you're talking about, I know what you're saying, oh my God, and that's exactly it. And I'd go, good, you got your message, brilliant. And to be honest, I wasn't that bothered, really, whether it was, I think with me, I got to the stage where I just given you information of what I'm feeling, and I don't care whether it's right or wrong, because I learned really fast after like a year that some people were really horrible, and then a few months later they'd come back and apologize. I got so used to that, it was unreal. But first it used to kind of like, and I heard it from other people, and I'd think, wow. And then they'd come back and apologize and say, I was really awful. I said things that I shouldn't have said, and I didn't really. And this is how humanity is. We're so quick to judge. We're so quick to be angry. We're so quick to tell people that they're wrong. So I got used to that. And then people had come back and say, I said some awful things on a table with a few of my friends who came to you for a reading, and I feel really bad. And I say, oh, it's okay, no problem, but I can understand to a point of view, because I was like that. I didn't want to hear anything from psychics or spiritual people or that. I no interest in that. But when you start to be pulled into that world organically, then you can't turn away from it. You can't turn away. You can't say to me, oh, Mark, come here. Tell me you're full of crap, aren't you? Just admit it, just to me. Not really, no. You want to come round with me for a week or two and have a look? People who spent a week with me used to say to me, I really like being around you. I say, why? Because weird things happen. I'd say, yeah, that's normal. It isn't actually weird. It's a normal way of life for me. So when people try and tell me I'm a fake or a charlatan or you do this, and it's like, you haven't got a clue. You haven't got a clue. You've never spent a week with me. You've never spent 2 weeks with me. And then you'd understand the weird things that happen, which I giggle about. I laugh. And I don't put too much focus or emphasis into it unless I write it in a book. Look how thick that is now. And from this book, from the stories that I wrote about what happened to me at the beginning, because it was an accident, of course, to this, seeing the invisible, which look how thick it is. Now, that's 1% of my stories, 1%. I even, sat with somebody today and I had like 5 stories that came to me and thought, oh, I should write that in a book. I forgot about that. And you learn to realize that there's 2 worlds out there. Well, there's 3 and maybe 4 or maybe 10, but my 2 worlds is one world that believe in this because they've experienced it, and another world of humanity who completely and utterly is severed from attunement and awakening and understanding and believing and knowing that there is this magical world out there, and that there are different spirits and our home world, because they just don't see it, because they're so deep in the energy of fear, anger, need, want, greed, and all of those things, that actually when you look at all of that and you see people like, I don't know, it happens to so many people who become wealthy and famous, all them people who always wanting to become that, all of a sudden let it all go, and they go into India and they sit with a guru for a month or 6 months, because they realize that all of that, what they thought they wanted, and all that worry to get it and fear, was actually BS, which was brainwashing by a system that tries to pull you into a never-ending cesspit of fear, anger, illness, sadness, depression, and definitely to pull you into a place where you do not attune to the magic that happens every single blooming day if you allow that in. Have a beautiful day, guys. Thank you for going to markbayerski.com, and we are going to do the raffle of the £3,000 Moldavite on Monday now, because the girls have said Sunday's not good for them, and I said okay, we'll do it Monday. So you've got till Monday at 6 o'clock to enter into the raffle. That means anything that you buy from markbayerski.com which has Moldavite in it, whatever it is with Moldavite, gets you one ticket. That ticket is going into this jar, and then I will pull out one name which will win the £3,000 Moldavite. And you can also go to Lemon House and buy anything on there which is Moldavite. It's got to be Moldavite, any kind of Moldavite, okay? Whether it's a Moldavite with another crystal, a Moldavite oil, Moldavite incense sticks, whatever it is, Moldavite gets a ticket for you. And good luck for Monday. It's a beautiful, beautiful, I don't know where it is, but it's here somewhere. It's definitely here somewhere. Don't know where, but it's here. All right. I hope you enjoyed this little conversation. Yeah. Have a beautiful day, guys. Love you all. Bye.